Good afternoon, all of you. So today we are going to start or we are going to study two important processes in plants and animals. That is, we are combining chapter 10 and 11 and we'll be studying a brief summary of the related content of this lesson. So let us move further and study what all things we have to see in this chapter. So what is the respiration in organisms? Why do we respire? Breathing is a part of respiration. So bodies of all organisms, they are made out of microscopic units which are called as the cells. Every organism, the body of every organism is made out of many microscopic units. We call them as the cell. So cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms. The air that we breathe in, it is transported to each and every cell of our body. So, the process of breakdown of food in the cell with the release of energy is called cellular respiration. We need oxygen. As we all know, we need oxygen for our survival, right? So, what happens is oxygen, as it enters inside our body, it is broken down and it is supplied in the form of molecules, and these oxygen molecules, they are supplied to different kind of cells to our body, because of which our cells get energy. So respiration is that much important for our body. Without respiring, we can live without food for a few days, without water for some moments, but without respiring we cannot live. Without taking in fresh oxygen, it is not possible for survival of human beings. So, the process of breakdown of food in the cell with the release of energy, we call it as cellular respiration. This cellular respiration, we can classify it into two kinds: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So, what is this aerobic respiration? So, when breakdown of glucose occurs with the use of oxygen, we call it as aerobic respiration. And food can also be broken down without using oxygen. Such kind of breakdown of food, we call it as anaerobic respiration. So, aerobic respiration, in simple term, we can say the respiration that is occurring in presence of air is called as aerobic respiration. And the kind of respiration, usually you find this kind of anaerobic respiration in several kind of yeasts, bacteria and all. So here what happened? The breakdown, okay, or the energy providing content in them is not oxygen. They can live without oxygen. Such kind of organisms we call them as anaerobes. Okay, so they have anaerobic kind of respiration. Then breathing. So breathing usually consists of two processes. One we call it as inhalation, one we call as exhalation. So what is this breathing? Breathing means taking in air that is rich in oxygen and giving out air that is rich in carbon dioxide with the help of the respiratory organs. So inhalation is taking in of air that is rich in oxygen, and exhalation is giving out of air rich in carbon dioxide. Now this inhalation and exhalation, okay, we consider the breathing rate of a person. So what is this breathing rate? The number of times a person breathes in a minute is termed as a breathing rate. Okay. And what is this during breathing, okay, inhalation and exhalation, it takes place alternately. Okay. One breath of an organism, it means one inhalation and one exhalation. Okay. So that is the importance of this. Even if you keep your hand below your nose, okay, you can find a kind of warm air, right? That means you are continuously breathing. You keep your finger below your nose, you can find it. That warm air is going outside, okay? So such that is being exhaled, right? So that is exhalation and inhalation, okay? So oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is exhaled out. That process, one process when, or one chain when it goes on, we call it as breathing, right? Now how do we breathe? we inhale the air. Okay. Then what happened? This air passes through our nasal cavity. Okay, nasal cavity means nose region, right? From the nasal cavity, this air reaches our lungs through the windpipe. Okay, here trachea has been shown. Okay, so from here the wind, it reaches the lungs. Okay, so these lungs, where they are located, they are present in the chest cavity. And this cavity is also surrounded by ribs. We know where the ribs of our body are located. A large muscular sheet called diaphragm forms the floor of this cavity. So diaphragm is present and it forms the floor of this cavity. So the air, it passes through the nasal cavity and then it reaches the lungs through the windpipe. Once it reaches the lungs, what happened? The chest, okay, it is filled with the lungs. They are filled with air. Okay. And then the diaphragm is there. It forms the base of this respiratory system. Right. So now you can again see when the processes of respiration is going on, especially in inhalation, what is happening? The air is filling in the lungs. As a result, the diaphragm moves towards the downward position, right? So the air is filling in the lungs and the lungs, they expand. The size of the lungs, they increase. But when exhalation is occurring, all the air, it moves outside. As a result, the diaphragm, it contracts. Its size reduces. And what happens? As you can see, it contracts, right? So its size reduces, okay? The size of the lungs, it reduces. Similarly, one more time you can see the ribs, they are moving out and during inhalation because air is filling in the lungs, right? So during exhalation, the ribs, they move back to their original position because air has already moved out. So this is continuously going on without our knowledge inside our body. Okay, this respiration process is going on. Now, what about other animals? Right? Not only this, but the percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide in inhaled and exhaled air, it varies. Okay. So in inhaled air, air has 21% oxygen. Okay. 0.04% carbon dioxide. Similarly, in exhaled air, 16.4% oxygen, 4.4% carbon dioxide. Okay. So this is what is exactly occurring in that. In case of other animals, many of the animals, they have lungs like the human beings for breathing. In some animals like the cockroaches, it has got special openings. Okay, these are called as the spiracles. Okay, there are several, these cockroaches have these spiracles at the sides of their body. Similarly, several kind of insects, they have the trachea for gas exchange. Earthworm, it breathes through its skin. Fish have gills. In plants, root cells play a very important role in breathing. Now, we are going to study about transportation in plants and animals. Okay, these contents are a part of chapter number 11, transportation in plants and animals. So, what is exactly this transportation? So, in human beings, the circulatory system plays a very important role in the transport of materials. So, the circulatory system is one of the most important part of or a system of our body that plays a very important role in transportation. So, what exactly this circulatory system consists of? The main component of this circulatory system is blood. So, blood is a liquid which has cells of various kinds, and these cells, they are suspended in it. It is a fluid that transports substances like digested food from the small intestine to other parts of the body. Similarly, it carries oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body, and it also transports waste for the removal from the body. Now, what is the composition of this blood? This blood, if you observe carefully, it has got plasma. The plasma is the fluid part of the blood. RBCs, they contain the red pigment called hemoglobin. This hemoglobin is responsible for carrying oxygen, right? that gives a red color to the blood. The red color of the blood is because of the red blood cells. Okay, they carry oxygen. Then there is a white blood cell. What is the use of this white blood cell? As the name suggests, it is white. Okay, the color is white. So somewhat white. Okay, so what do? They fight against the germs that enter inside our body. And then there are platelets. Platelets help in clotting of blood. So what is this clotting? Clotting means when we fall down, we are having a wound. Okay, after some days what we see, we recover from the wound. One black patch is formed on that wound. Okay, that is because the dead cells are being continuously removed and new cells are being replaced on that place. Okay, this is possible only because of the presence of platelets. So 55% of the blood consists of plasma, 4% consists of white blood cells and platelets, and 41% consists of red blood cells. Okay. Now, this blood, it is not directly flowing in our body. It is flowing through a proper channel, closed vessels. Okay, vessel-like structure. We call them as the blood vessels. Okay, if you touch near your wrist, okay, you feel a throbbing. You feel a kind of dub like that. Okay, so that we call it as the throbbing. Okay, that is a pulse. Okay, and then if you check the number of beats per minute, we call it as the pulse rate. Now, it is the blood that is flowing through the vessel. Okay, so how? Okay, these blood vessels. There are 3 types of blood vessels, right? So, as shown in the figure, there are the arteries, there are the veins, and there are the capillaries, right? So, in case of artery, okay, the artery carries blood away from the heart. Okay, artery carries the blood from the heart. Okay, to different organs. It supplies it to different organs. Whereas veins, what does it do? It collects the deoxygenated blood from different organs and takes it back to the heart. Whereas capillary, it exchanges. Okay, it is an exchange between the artery and the vein, the region present between the artery and the vein. Okay, actually the blood flowing in the artery is red in color, whereas in the veins it's slightly greenish to blue. Okay, it is because it's deoxygenated kind of blood. Okay, and that's why the veins have been represented as blue in color and the arteries red in color. Arteries will carry pumped and oxygenated blood to different organs, whereas veins, what they will do? They will carry deoxygenated blood to the heart. That is the difference between the artery and the vein. Now, one of the main organs of the circulatory system is the heart. Okay, so heart is an organ. It beats continuously. So, it acts as an organ for the transport of the blood. The heart is located in the chest cavity with its lower tip slightly tilted towards the left. Its size is the size of the fist. If you fold your finger and you see, okay, your fist size, that is the size of your heart. Okay, the heart is divided into 4 chambers internally. The 2 upper chambers are called the atria. Okay, or the arteries we call them, and the 2 lower chambers we call them as the ventricles. Okay, so it is divided into atrium and ventricle. Okay, so the red part in the picture you can see, it indicates the oxygenated blood, and the blue part, it carries the deoxygenated blood, right? Now, excretion in animals. So kidneys are one of the main organs in our body that is associated with excretion, right? So the process of removal of waste produced in the cells of the living organism, we call it as excretion. The parts involved in excretion form the excretory system. In human, kidneys play a very important role in the process of excretion. The excretory system, it includes a pair of kidneys. These kidneys, they are bean-shaped organs. Okay. And when the blood reaches the 2 kidneys, it contains the harmful and the useful substances. The kidney acts as a filter, and so what it does? It absorbs back whatever is good, useful material to us. And the waste that we do not want, they are dissolved in the urine and they are removed. Okay. Actually, the urinary bladder, okay, it plays an important role in removal of these wastes. Okay, so you can see the different parts, okay, of the excretory system in human beings. But how does this transport of substances, how does it occur in plants? In plants, usually what happens, they have pipe-like vessel, okay, to transport water and nutrients from the soil. These vessels, they are made out of special cells and they form the vascular tissue. Especially this vascular tissue for the transport of water and nutrients in the plant, we call it as the xylem. Okay, what do we call? We call it as the xylem. And the food that has to be transported to all the parts of the plant, this is done by a vascular tissue called as the phloem. Okay, again we have studied what is the transpiration in case of plants, right? And so I hope you understood these parts. I have just covered the important points in the topic. We'll be discussing these topics further in our online class. Waiting for you for the online class. Thank you.